Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for joining me today. So I'm filming this pretty late at night, thinking about a few things that have just recently happened, just having to do with emotions. So I want to talk with you a little bit about how not to hide from your pain. Like how do we not hide from that? So I really just been thinking about it a little bit over the last couple of days, and some things that have happened recently have just caused me to really reflect on how I react to sadness or grief or shock or pain, anger, things like that. Like, how do I react to those emotions? And really, God revealed to me that I have typically hid from those. So I've just done some really deep heart searching and found I'm not on the other side of this. I'm actually walking this out right now. So I just thought I would talk to you sisters about it today and encourage you to maybe walk it with me. If you too are struggling with hanging out with hidden pain. So I'm going to be doing a little blog about this. I already have started writing. Writing is very therapeutic for me, and it's also very healing for others. So I encourage you to go check out my blog as well if you've not done that. I'll leave a link to that blog in the description below. So I'm just going to go ahead and just jump right into this video. One of the hardest things for me to deal with is facing the fact that I actually have sadness, or I'm angry about something, or to cry. I have had a really hard time just being able to cry, even in front of people, even someone as close to me as my husband. And I feel ashamed. I have felt ashamed of crying. I've felt anytime, that I feel like this emotion is just welling up inside of me, I need to just shut it down, and I need to shut it down pretty quickly, because if I don't, I could be exposed as being weak. And that's really, there's a big flaw in that. And truly it keeps, it's kept me in the past, it has kept me in a lot of bondage. One of the things that I have definitely battled with in my life at times is bouts of depression. And I for sure, growing up, I was always kind of told just suck it up and deal with it. And, don't cry, because if they see you cry, and then nobody said this to me in particular, but just from experience, if someone saw me cry, then it was almost just like kicking me while I was down. Oh, you're crying. I'm going to say something to hurt you even worse now, because you're in a weakened state. So I learned from an early age, hide your tears and cry them later. But what I ended up doing as I grew up is, unfortunately, is I hid my tears, and instead of crying them later, I hid them. And then I hid them some more, and then I hid them some more, and I kept hiding them until eventually all of those tears just wanted to they wanted to come out. And I was afraid at that point in my life, once I realized I have really hid a lot of pain, that I was so afraid that if I started to cry, I wouldn't stop. So I have gotten a lot better over the years, for real, but it's taken me a really long time to get to this point, and I still have a long ways to go in healing how I deal with my emotions, because emotions happen to everyone. Hiding them, if you hide your emotions, if you hide your pain, and if you hide your grief or sorrow or depression, that will end up having control over you, because you feel ashamed, that you have those. Like for me, I felt ashamed that I was depressed, because I was supposed to know better. I was supposed to be, somebody who could overcome depression by, just saying I'm not depressed, any of those things, but that's not true. So, taking a minute to acknowledge your emotions, saying, I am mad about this. I do feel this way about this. I am depressed about this. It makes me sad, or I feel sad, or I just want to cry right now. And give yourself permission. Just give yourself permission to do that. And I had not really done that. So once I started doing that, it was freeing. But I still struggle with allowing myself to be completely vulnerable in front of anyone. It's just me and Jesus. Jesus gets a lot of my vulnerability, of course, because he knows it whether I say it or not. So I know that I can be honest with him anyway. So, just if you're hiding it, it has control over your life. It has control, keeps you hidden, keeps you in bondage, keeps you feeling like, there's this thing that you can't really look at, because if you expose it, then you can deal with it. If you expose it and get, even if you have to have help, if you have to have somebody, walk you through the process, whether you get Christian counseling, whether you just have a best friend that you trust, or a pastor, or just anyone, just a mentor that you trust, that is going to give you sound advice and not jump on your same field. Like they're going to encourage you through it. They're going to understand. They're not going to say, suck it up, get over it, deal with it, this is life. They're going to be empathetic towards you at the same time as helping you to overcome that. And you can feel safe with them. They're not going to attack you. Find somebody like that in your life, because it's really important to do that. And then, just dealing with our pain and dealing with our emotions, looking at those and saying, this is what I'm dealing with. This is what I'm facing today. Just gives you control. It gives you control to say, I'm not gonna let this overwhelm me. This is a season that I do feel this season. I feel awful. Like I seriously had to do this myself yesterday. I said, I know I am struggling with something right now, big time, and it's making me sad, and I might experience random bouts of tears, and I might feel just overwhelmingly sad, overwhelmingly depressed even is a good word. But I know it's not going to last. I know tomorrow I will feel better, whether it's tomorrow or a week from now or 6 hours, whatever it is. I know it's not going to last. It's a moment. I gave myself permission to go ahead and just say, I'm just going to be weepy today. I'm going to cry when I feel like crying. I'm going to just let it out, and then tomorrow I'm going to feel better. And sure enough, I did. I felt better today. I wasn't actually expecting it to happen so fast, but I was glad that I let that process happen, and then I did feel better. So anyways, I just encourage you to deal with your pain, deal with your emotions, and let them come out. Because if you don't, and you leave them all inside and you let them fester and you cover them up and you stuff them down like I did for so long, I just stuffed them until there's no more room, and eventually you're going to explode. And it's going to come out of you, maybe in the way of anger. Maybe you're yelling at your children, or you're snappy at your husband, or you just feel hopeless, like you can't figure out, why is nothing working? Why can't I think straight about things, or whatever it is. The majority of the time it's because there's repressed feelings, there's repressed emotions that you're not dealing with. And if you'll just take a second, do some self-evaluation, take a second, go sit down quietly, whether that means you have to go take a mommy time out and lock yourself in the room or in the bathroom, or go take a walk, or ask your husband to help you keep the kids if you are blessed with a husband to do that, or wait till they go to bed, nap time, whenever. But take some time and just do a little self-evaluation and say, okay, where is it that I'm very short fused, so what's going on with me? Where is it that I might be hiding some feelings or emotions that I've not dealt with? And, just start dealing with those. And again, dealing with them is really important, but the only way you can deal with them is if you first acknowledge that they're there, expose them, and talk to somebody. God, for me, is really big. I talk to God and my husband a lot about my emotional things that are going on. But before I had my husband, I had God. I journal. So journaling for me was really a big deal. It was a great way for me to expose my feelings, get them out there, and deal with them so that they didn't have power over me anymore. And that's really helpful, because that will free you in so many ways. So I hope that you were encouraged by this today. And if you have any questions, or you want to, talk about maybe a little bit more about how that might look, or what you could do particularly in your situation, please feel free to leave a comment below, and I'll definitely respond. And also just go check out my blog, and you can contact me that way as well, a little bit more privately, so feel free to do that. But let's just deal with our emotions, ladies. Let's get it all out on the table. We don't have to sit and wallow in our pain. We don't have to sit in sadness all day long, because it is a real emotion. We will experience it. We don't have to stay there. So I'm definitely not giving anyone permission to say, I'm just sad or I'm depressed and I'm going to stay that way, because that's not the case at all. The truth is that we do experience those things. We can be free. We don't have to hide from them, and we can get over them. Eventually, tomorrow you'll be happy, if you do those things, because the Bible even tells us that, pain will come in the night, but joy comes in the morning. And, when my mom passed away a few years ago, and that was really tough for me. It's still tough for me to this day. A couple nights ago, something triggered a memory in my mind, and I couldn't sleep, and I was up a lot during the night, just crying on and off. It just was a mess. But truly, three years has gone by, and I keep telling myself I didn't mourn for a while over it, but then when I finally did, I thought, okay, I'm over it. Like, I should be over it. Everything should be fine. But the truth is, it's not. That's my mom. I lost her. I miss her. I will eventually be reunited with her, and I know that that's comfort to me. But for now, in this world and on this side of heaven, I miss her. So dealing with that pain, instead of beating myself up saying you should be over this, because again, that's just that conditioned thought from being conditioned growing up, that instead of just telling myself you should be over this, you should have already dealt with this by now, why are you still crying over this? Give myself permission. Say, I'm just going to be this way for now. I'm going to go ahead and cry. I'm going to be this way. And then tomorrow I'll be better. And sure enough, tomorrow I was. The next day I was better. So anyways, I hope that you guys were, again, encouraged by this video. And if you were, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you can get my latest just latest thoughts, I guess, and revelations from the Lord. So I hope that you guys have a great evening. I'm going to go to bed. Bye.